coming and going all the time. Now, it's very difficult in an urban context to predict what lies under the ground. You can use map evidence, but what you really want is some sort of geophysical survey method that will show through the tarmac the lines of walls and things like that. So we tried something called ground penetrating radar survey, which in very simple terms sends a signal into the ground, and depending on the time it takes to come back and its intensity, it can actually mark the positions of walls and graves and things like that. We've tried it 5 times in Leicester, and every single occasion it's been a miserable failure, probably because of the complexity of the archaeology. And as it turned out, Greyfriars was no exception. But what it did do was to reveal lots of red lines, as you can see on this plan, marking the position of buried services. So electrics, fibre optics, gas, sewers, you name it. So it would at least mean that we could potentially dig some holes without closing down the computer systems of the City Council, which was definitely a good thing. So the red lines were quite helpful in terms of missing services, but no help in locating trenches to find Richard III. We've also got lots of green blobs everywhere. Sadly, that one turns out to be the bike sheds, at the base of the bike sheds of the school, rather than anything more interesting. So no help there. Now, what we can at least rely on with medieval religious buildings is that they have a fairly regular layout. So here is the plan of the Austin Friars, the Augustinians in Leicester, and this has a church on the south side with a cloister or a courtyard with a walkway surrounding it on the north side, and then ranges of buildings around the cloister, including a chapter house, and then another cloister to the north. So that's one typical arrangement, although the church isn't always at the south, it's sometimes at the north, it varies. So in fact, here's another one from Walsingham. This is Greyfriars, Walsingham, and this one has a church on the north side with a nave and 2 aisles, a central bit under the main tower, and that's known as the walking place, and that provides access to a walkway around the cloisters, around this courtyard, into the chapter house, where the friars would meet on a daily basis to discuss the business of the friary with the guardian, who was in charge. Then you might have another cloister, and then kitchens and breweries and all sorts of things. Then also from the walking place, you go through a screen into the choir, with stalls usually facing inwards, and then the presbytery and the high altar. So fairly regular layouts, and the walls are generally running east-west. The buildings are orientated east-west. So instead, what we did was really what any archaeologist would do, was to sort of try plans of a nominal friary and move them all over the place within the precinct, flipping them round, resizing them, and then in the end coming to the inevitable conclusion that all we could really do was to run 2 very long north-south trenches through the site, missing the services, but hopefully picking up walls crossing the line of the trenches. So here's 2 trenches running up north through the site.